Hello.
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Barely.
Go down now.
Nah.
Okay, what down now? No.
It's the same as it was. Sounds like you about 10 feet away. I see you.
What about I got literally have the laptop in my hand. Like,
Oh. Is your volume all the way up?
yeah.
It's not connected to like headphones or anything, is it?
No, I initially I had headphones in, but I took them out.
Hmm. Um, Hold on one second. Okay, can you say something?
Hello.
Yeah, it still sounds far away.
What
Um,
about
it sounds like it might be like sometimes mine sounds like this when it's picking up through my headphones and not through my computer. But you don't have your headphones plugged in
no?
or Bluetooth? No. Hmm. Can you use your phone?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, makeup.
um,
Let me make sure I don't like have.
nothing, nothing now. No, nothing.
Say it again.
Oh Lord. First time I do it, I'm on Zoom meeting. Um,
Is this what you normally use when you do stuff?
I'll use my laptop or my phone.
Hmm.
Okay. Can you just give me a few seconds? Let me grab my phone.
Okay. I'm gonna go make me some coffee real quick.
Okay.
I got so much to say. Climb to the top. I think your mic's not on at all right now.
Okay, what about now?
Yes.
Okay. I let my daughter use my laptop a lot. And so
Got you.
she's probably destroyed it.
It sounds like, because I could like hear you a little bit, but it sounded like you were really far away. So
Okay.
yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I got turned down for one of those grants. I was devastated.
Oh,
Ugh,
really?
yes,
Which one?
because I've been getting them back to back, like
Oh,
the $500 one. It was a couple of $500 ones, $200, like small ones. I've been getting them, and then I tried for a $5,000 relief one,
mm.
and they were just like, "Yeah, your struggle just doesn't sound bad enough. We're gonna give it to someone else."
Yeah.
But I reapplied because they're keeping it open till like October and no, to September. So
Have
I'm
you
gonna keep.
have you applied for the elevator artist relief?
Yeah, I didn't even blink and I got that one. I'm not even trying to be cocky about it. I
I got
just
that
like,
too, actually. Yeah.
what do you? What about Are you doing Louisville Art Networks one? Like it's live for Lou or live Lou or something like that. But they go live like every week, and
Oh,
they broadcast artists. Like you give them like a project, and
oh, I didn't
like
see that.
yeah, it's real simple. It's just a small little thing you fill out, and then they contact you, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to go live and discuss your project of
Oh,
what $200?"
absolutely. Yeah, I need to do that. Hold on one second. Uh, who is this person?
So what you do is you record and then you air on Facebook. You go
Yep.
to Zoom. Hmm,
Because well, so the first couple that I did, they were actually live on Facebook. And then I
okay.
edited them. But then I it just it since I'm trying to do this for the radio show, it makes it easier for me to do it Zoom because for the radio show I'd have to edit out us talking about Facebook comments and that kind of stuff. And you really don't get a lot of Facebook comment. You know what I'm saying? People aren't asking thousands of questions in the Facebook. So I'd rather do this. It's easier for me to edit and it's just a cleaner product than trying to over here. I'm streaming on Facebook. I'm streaming on Instagram. It that can be tough sometimes. So
Yeah, I can't even. The slam is too long to even consider airing on Instagram. I've been doing like what we did last time. We did like a highlight, like a little highlight reel, and then I put that on Instagram. But I can't. It was too long. But I'm thinking about adding it now to YouTube and see how that goes. I'll do
okay.
that. But,
Well, we can talk a little bit about that. So, the biggest
okay.
things we just need to be aware that we cannot say. Uh, we can't say the 7 words that you can't say on TV.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't have any intentions of doing it, but okay.
just to be, but one that catches people off guard is piss. Can't say piss.
Okay.
Um, and I say pissed a lot, so I have to think about it. But the others, just to be clear, are shit, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits.
Here's the thing. Don't you ever say those again to me.
I just want to be clear.
Okay. All right.
Um, and we can't really talk politics. We can't really talk politics either,
Okay.
which that's hard for me. So
I noticed. I was like, look at Alonzo. He's really out here on some Trevor Noah stuff.
man, people be making me mad. I'm telling you, the white people are starting to realize who I really am,
Man.
and it makes them real uncomfortable.
What happened to the Alonzo that did what's the play you like doing?
Like this,
Yes. Where's Les Mis, Lonzo?
right? I know. I know. Okay, so I'll get us kind of started. I'll talk
Okay.
about how we know each other, that kind of stuff. We'll just shoot the breeze a little bit,
Okay.
and then I'll ask you some specific questions. But then, don't feel like we just talking.
Okay.
All Now, I am planning on streaming this on Facebook later, just to be aware.
Well, you be able to hear stuff like in the background. Can you
Yeah,
hear
but
that?
it's okay. You should acknowledge, we're stuck at home.
Okay.
I got a husband and a kid,
Okay.
By the way, I've never met your daughter.
I know. Everybody says it. They're like, you treat her like she's blanket or parrots or something.
Never met her. That's hilarious. All right, here we go.
Okay.
All right, so I am here with the one, the only, the fabulous, the fantastic Rheonna Thornton. Rheonna, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Yes, yeah.
This quarantine season.
Yes, absolutely. So you are at home every day, right?
Yes.
You have a husband, you have a daughter. How are they doing?
They're doing pretty well. My husband, he's working from home, and then I've got my 2-year-old who is also working from home as well, demanding but it's here's the thing. We were quarantined before the actual quarantine. So I don't even notice what's going on.
Absolutely. So you were working sort of in corporate America at for Humana, correct? And AT&T, just doing some different stuff. And now you're pursuing it.
Yeah, I was at AT&T making good money. Good money. And then I was in sales, but it was very stressful after a while. So then that's when I went over to Humana, like 90% of Black women in Louisville.
Absolutely.
And I was there 4 years, and after a while, you just kind of like, oh. What else is there? Like, here I am, I'm this artist and I'm trying to work full time, but still trying to be an artist full time. So last year I let it go, and I started working in my artistry full time. And, I was like, I'm going to step out. I'm going to do this. This is going to be great. I got all these plans and these goals. And then what? COVID. Stopped me dead in my tracks. I was like, wow. As I'm sure a lot of people. So.
Yeah, me certainly, because, Redline, we were just about to kick off our season for the year. We had 3 productions that we were starting, like already started. So those got sort of pushed aside. So let's talk about, what led to you doing what you do now, being an artist. Because when we first met, you were an artist per se, but you were a different type of artist. You were what we call a barista. And you were the queen of the baristas. We worked at Starbucks on 4th and Market in the convention center. Yes. I think that was 05, 06.
Yeah.
I was right out of high school because I was going to school at the time. I had got a job working across the street at the credit clearing house as a bill collector.
What's it? Hilarious.
Next to active theater, and I got fired about a month in because I was not built for bill collecting. I just wasn't, because I'm like, y'all pay when you can. Life is hard, I know, And so one day, I think the day I got fired, I was inside and I walked outside and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go over to Starbucks and just see if they're hiring. I had never had Starbucks, as had most Black people at the time.
Right.
Unless you worked there. But it wasn't what it is today, Um, and so here, in Louisville. And so I went in, I applied, I got the job, and you were a shift supervisor, a team leader or team, whatever we called them at the time. So tell us how you started at Starbucks.
It was so funny because I remember you coming over and saying, "Oh gosh, ghetto girls." It's like I don't want to be.
You definitely, I'm pretty sure you was like, why? So you want to work here? Why you want to work here? You know?
No, no. So, the crazy part is I was working at I didn't finish college. I was going to Murray State, and I didn't go back. And so I, of course, I went and got a job, and I was working in the golf house. And then I ended up getting fired, the golf house, and I was doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. Horrible. So then I went up the street and I was like, oh wow, Starbucks. And because I didn't want to do McDonald's. I didn't want to do collections, stuff like that. I was like, I like making drinks. I really do. So I went up there, they were hiring, and next thing you know, I get hired. And it was it's one of those things, the funny things in life where I didn't necessarily want to stay there. I didn't think that I would be there 5, 6, 7 years, but I learned so much from that job. I learned how to deal with people. I learned a lot about myself, how I carried myself, my surroundings. You learn different, I just learned a lot of life lessons there. And I took that and I applied it to everywhere after working at Starbucks. It was so much chaos there. But I learned it was very real and raw in that Starbucks, in the convention center. It was so much. And so just I took those lessons that I didn't have any intentions on learning, and I just applied them to life. And it was I thank God every day I drive out there. Every day. You hear me? Like I go into a praise thanking God.
Yeah. No,
so
seriously.
much.
And I'm with you. And what was different, I want to preface, our Starbucks was a franchise. So it was run by the organization who ran the food services inside the convention center.
No business running that.
No business. So our Starbucks was not your average Starbucks for sure.
They had dishwashers back there making drinks, like custodians.
They would just send us people if we were busy. They would just send us like a custodian or like some. Had no idea. And so Rheonna and I became really good friends, the best of friends, because we normally worked the closing shifts together.
I keep laughing. I'm just thinking about so much stuff. I'm sorry.
We had some crazy times, and we just, we had such a good time.
But I didn't answer your question or somewhat of it. But during that time, like I'd always been a writer and an artist in some capacity. Like I knew how to draw, and I was going to college for commercial art. So my whole goal was like, okay, I'll work at Starbucks.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, no, I've always drawn. Like that was my whole thing. Paint, whatever. Worked with different mediums, whatever. So my whole thing was like, I can work at Starbucks and go across the street. It was a graphic design company that was across the street at the time, and I was like, I can work there. But no, that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. So me being an artist kind of made its way back around full circle, because once I started working at Starbucks, I just forgot about all of that. Like I forgot, almost like lost a piece of me working at Starbucks. But it wasn't until after I lost that job. I ended up getting fired from Starbucks after all this time. I ended up getting fired, and that's when I found myself back in my art again, and that's what led me going back into poetry. So I ended up having to lose something that I thought was so important in order to find. Come on now, in order to find something that I had lost. Well, I thought
This
I
is what
had.
our this is what our shift sounded like when we when we worked together. Just loud, just praising, just Well, and what's interesting is, when I left Starbucks, um, I worked for Chick-fil-A. I've worked every job, every job. Went back to Starbucks. Um, but I remember like thinking, oh my God, Rheonna is gonna die working at Starbucks. Like she wore her all black every day. She wore her apron every
Filthy
day.
apron, dirty, just disgusting. My mother's like,
Um,
"You're not a lady."
but I will say something that we did while you were there is I was doing shows throughout my time there, and I was writing and producing and directing my own shows. And I actually convinced you to come and be the lead in one of my shows,
Yeah.
Heart Condition. And you got to play this, I don't know if I can say, can I say bitchy? I think I can say bitchy. Just mean, nasty woman who essentially, had a heart transplant, spiritually speaking. But that was really fun. We had a really good time doing that.
Yeah, I think about that periodically too. Like, yeah, and it's so funny because if I tell myself if I was to ever do something like that again, like I liked playing the villain.
Mm-hmm.
You playing the villain, like it's a good thing. I don't know.
Well, it felt good to me to see you like in the creative element because I knew you were creative, but I felt like
Yeah,
you were putting all of your creativity into making Starbucks drinks, which, hey, does take creativity. And
yeah.
one of the things I hated about working with Rheonna was when she wasn't there, they already know the most, but when she wasn't there, people would come in and we would make their drink, let's say a grande white mocha, and then they're like, this ain't right. I'm like, no, this is, here's the correct ingredients for a grande white mocha. And they're like, where's Rheonna? This ain't how Rheonna makes it. And I'm like, because Rheonna had her own way of making the drink. You would submit recipes to Starbucks to try to get to them to be official drinks. They wouldn't accept them, but then later on down the line, we would start to see like, ain't that the drink Rheonna came up with?
I
The
mean,
peppermint patty, white mocha, the peppermint patty.
I'm like, really, y'all? Like, they out of control with it now. They're out of control with it. It's a lot. So it's so funny. The the manager, forgive me, Casey, if I don't know what your position. I think he's a district manager. Oh, I know he's over a lot of Starbucks in the Louisville area. And he asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you
Regional
want to?"
manager, probably.
Probably so. Yeah, I said district, probably regional. He was like, "Do you want to work? Do you want to work part time back in one?"
Oh,
I,
really?
yeah, he asked me. And I was just like,
Recently? Wow.
yeah, recently, like a couple of months ago, recently, like the
Wow.
beginning of this whole the COVID thing. He asked me. I don't
Wow.
think I can't. I just can't. I
We can get
can't.
me, you, Jamila, Katie. Uh, so so seriously though, we did really have a good time. I mean, honestly, the job wouldn't have been bearable if we didn't have the fun that we had and our regular customers who came in.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stephen Ray and several
I still
others
talk to
who,
Steven from time to
yeah,
time.
who we would see,
Gary.
Gary, we would see coming from across the street and, get their drink ready for them because we knew what they wanted. Even working that early morning shift, same thing, we get those same customers coming in who wanted their drink,
You remember the very first customer that would come in the morning?
Yep. Yep. I sure do.
What's it, Misto?
Yep.
Have coffee and man.
Yep. Get a
Ooh,
misto.
wow.
Was it a grande misto?
She bring her own cup, I think. Or no, she would. No, I think. Anyway, it was grande for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then the
Every
whole.
day, faithful. Oh yeah, get a lot of homeless people because you're down on market. And then I was just talking about this the other day. The church conventions.
Any convention, but then the church conventions.
It was a lot of frappuccinos.
And the cheerleaders, the dance.
Oh yes, you wanted to. I never saw somebody want to strangle so many little white girls.
Ooh. Can I have a medium Java chip? McKenna, what are you getting? I think I'm gonna get vanilla bean. Okay, I want a vanilla bean instead. Oh Lord.
Yep.
Extra whip. And then the ones that kind of figured out how to beat the system. Can I get a grande and a venti cup, please? Extra whip. Like, oh Lord. Ooh. But it's okay because I learned a lot from it. It was just unnecessary drama. Oh
Right.
my God.
Can we get a little bit of an
reality
impression?
show.
Can we get a little bit of an impression of maybe a person of color who had never been to Starbucks before?
Color. Stop it. It would be can I get caramel frappe? And I'll be like, frappuccino? Yes, let me get a caramel frappe, extra caramel, and then also extra whip. And then can I get caramel in the side as well? Okay. That'll be $7.55. $7.55. At McDonald's, they only charge $2.27. Oh my God! Like, okay, well, you can get a small. How much is a small? That'll be $4.30. $4.35. Oh my God! Let me just get a small lemonade.
Extra sweet. Oh man, then we try to fix it up for them a little bit. We maybe add, yep, you like raspberry? I can add a little raspberry in there,
But again, that's another trap because then they come back like, oh, I want a raspberry lemonade, and then okay, and then somebody they're gonna follow the recipe, and they're like, this ain't how.
Right.
Oh
man, such good times. We had the best of times there. So entertaining. You would disappear for 30, 45 minutes at a time because Rheonna knew everybody in the convention center, so she would just be gone. I mean, but listen, we looked out for each other.
Now that I can look back on it, I was a pretty horrible shift leader.
Yeah.
Oh God.
You were a great friend, though.
Yeah, and then you couldn't tell me like what at the time I was getting $10.50 an hour, maybe something like that. Well, I thought it was like $10, then tips every week.
Yeah,
oh man,
we weren't, and we didn't have insurance.
No, none of that.
No, all the benefits of being a Starbucks employee, man. But really good times, and I think I was really surprised when you first told me about because after I left the second time, I was super busy, engulfed in teaching and doing everything that I was doing. So my life was in Southern Indiana, and I wasn't leaving. You know, it was. And so when you first launched Lipstick Wars, I was surprised because I'm like, I knew like Rheonna kind of dabbled in poetry, but not like this, not where she's like putting on an event. Like what? So tell us about that time, like from the time of like leaving Starbucks to starting Lipstick Wars, and tell everybody what Lipstick Wars is. But I want to know about leading up to Lipstick Wars.
Yeah, so once I got fired from Starbucks, like I just thought my world was, coming to an end. Like there's all, Starbucks, what do I do now? And then the way that I was loved, the way that I was treated, it was awful. It definitely was like a scene in you know, Wait to Exhale. Like I gave you this all these years, you just gonna dump me, you just gonna leave me.
Right.
So after I got fired from there, I spent some time to myself, kind of like figuring out what do I want to do. I was, in a living situation that I didn't want to be in. It was horrible. Well, not that it was bad or anything like bad, whatever. It's just, it just wasn't a great situation. I will say this much, like being with roommates and stuff, and then you thinking you just, it wasn't a great situation. So I was just I just kind of felt like I was at a rock bottom state, and I was crying, and I'm like, I'm asking God, like, God help me, like what is going on? And I just kind of started thinking. I kind of just reshifted my focus, and I just started, trying to help people and just use my gift in another way. Like, okay, I signed up for my church. My church had a talent show, and I signed up. I was like, I'm gonna do this. Like, what do I have to lose? I'm not doing anything. I signed up for it, and after I did it, everybody was like, oh my God, like, whoa, I didn't even know you knew how to do that. And so after I did it, I started getting approached by members in the church that were like a part of organizations. Hey, I want you to come to this brunch and I want you to perform, or hey, I want you to come to this program and perform. And then by doing that, other people that were coming were asking me to come to their, to their events or conferences and churches. And I just kept happening. It kept happening. And so after that, I went to my first poetry slam, and I'm like, wow, like this is a whole other dynamic I'd never seen before, never heard it. Like I'd seen it mentioned, but never experienced it. So I'm listening to it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm competitive. I felt like I can do this. So at the time, I went to it was the Sweet Peaches poetry slam, and Lance Newman was over it. And I came to him, I was like, dude, I want to slam. And he said, oh, you should, we need more women to slam. And I was like, okay. So I go back, I write this poem, and, I recite it to myself, rehearse it and everything. I go back, and I go into the slam. I do pretty well. I come in like second place. And then I went back, and that's when I ended up winning. So I was doing them, and I just kept winning. And I'm like, okay, I'm pretty good. So then after doing them, I noticed the lack of female presence that was in these slams. And then I would hear a lot of like, oh, another angry Black woman poem, or like, oh, it's just like when women would speak, it was that universal sigh of, okay, heartbreak, she's bitter, she's angry, or, it almost felt like people just didn't want to hear it. And not saying that, everybody felt that way, but it was a strong presence that was felt. And a lot of it came from some of the male poets. So then by this time I'm at AT&T at this time. And so I'm competing in these slams, and I'm going to these different events, and I'm meeting different people in the art scene, and I'm just like, wow, this is cool. Like, but I still enjoyed it. And finally, I went to compete nationally in New York. And there was tons. There were women from everywhere. There was women from Canada, Africa, New Mexico, like from all these places competing. And I just felt like, man, Louisville needs something like this. They really do. So after I did that, I came in sixth place. What? Oh, you didn't ask? Okay, I was just telling you. I came in sixth place out of this hundreds of women. I came in sixth place, first time competing. I'm
Get it.
pumped. And so then I come back and I'm like, I'm gonna make this happen. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna make it happen. And so I remember going to people in the community on the west side of town who I thought had influence, who I thought were movers and shakers that I should go to help me facilitate this. I kind of got I like the idea, but no, maybe you should talk to somebody who works in that field, or some people just didn't respond, didn't say anything. So at this time, it was just, I didn't have a name for it or anything. It just was kind of just a puddle of ideas. And finally, a friend recommended, hey, why don't you go to the Kentucky Center? There's a program there, and they help, I think they would like something like this. They put on an open mic already. It's free, open to the public. You should try it. So I went up there and I spoke to the director, and it was Julia Youngblood. And I told her how I felt, and she saw how passionate I was about it. And she was like, you know what? I'll help you put it on. So I'm telling my husband about it, well, my boyfriend at the time. I'm telling him about it, and he says, you know what, you should call it, because I'm coming up with what he says is whack names. I'm like, When She Speaks, or or something. It was corny, So he's like, what about like Lipstick War, something like that, where women are like going head to head, something like that. And I liked it. I was like, that's a neat idea. I like it. And
so Nipsey, we owe Nipsey for the name. Wow. I always thought the name was dope. I loved it.
It's so funny because like I tell people this all the time. Men are a lot of the brain power behind this. Like, you just don't know, it's men. So I'm going to the Kentucky Center. I tell her about it, and I just really wanted it to focus on women. And a lot of people will ask me like, well, men aren't included. How come men can't do it? I just feel like women needed that platform, that safe space where I can talk about my divorce in a poem. I can talk about my self-esteem issues in a poem. I can talk about how I was molested, or I went through domestic violence, or I am an angry Black woman, and I'm angry because I have a right to be angry. I have a lot to be mad about. But I wanted that platform for women to feel free and not judged about what they were going through. And Arts Reach, they really liked it. And before I knew it, they gave me a room that could fit no more than 50 people in it. And she says, okay, I can give you this room free of charge, because we're taking care of it. I'll give you this room, holds 50 people, you're good. And I thought, okay, well, that's great. I got this room, and I was just happy for the room.
Right.
I was like, well, I'm in the Kentucky Center, and I made this open call. Mind you, no one knew me they didn't know me for poetry. Only a few people did.
Right.
Most people knew me for tea, for making teas and stuff.
We'll talk about that.
So I make this open call, but by this time, like, my name was starting to get around into somewhat in circles for poetry. So I make this open call, and next thing I know, poets are coming on board. and uh, people that I never knew. I just was like, wow, this is crazy. So the next thing I know, I got 15 poets, and I got this space in the Kentucky Center for the Arts. This is amazing. They put together the flyer for me. I worked with a local artist by the name of Chip Calloway. Shout out to Chip. And it just had happened. But what we did not know or were not prepared for is how it spread like wildfire. Like the people were hearing about it. They were sending me messages. How can I come to the event? How can I participate? How much does it cost? And it just kept growing and growing and growing. And I was like, okay, this is serious. Then, WHAS, Wave 3, like these local people were, news stations were reaching out. And it's funny, Erica Denise was the one who went to Arts Reach and told them, like, hey, look, she's gonna need something bigger than this room that you guys got her. Like we it's just, it's in your best interest to give her this space, the bigger space. So next thing I know, they're like, hey, how would you like to be in the theater? And I said, sure, I'll take the theater. I mean, imagine, I'm just happy to be there. I'm just happy to be there. And October the 12th, 2015, leading up to it, over 600 people flooded the Baumhart Theater to come to Lipstick Wars. And I mean, leading up until then, it was a little chaotic. I had I did a small meet and greet. I got food donated. I had lipstick on tables. It was a lot, but ever since then, I haven't looked back since we're doing this. And what, 5 years in? 5 years in.
I was really blessed. I was really blessed to be a part of the first one, which was a really cool event.
No.
It was
like, Rheonna, no. You need to be charging. Rheonna, you need to be charging.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was like, because there were people everywhere, like the Baumhart Theater. And I'm over here like, you could have made $10,000 tonight, like having charged an admission. Like, it was insane. And I don't know that I expected that either, but it was like, people just kept coming. And then I'm like, and you don't need to be out here. You need to be like hidden. This is my theater director brain. And
Rheonna, like, what are you doing?
She's just like out there setting up stuff. And I'm like, no, everybody's coming to her for questions. And but that was a really cool learning experience. I was able to bring some students and they worked. And I'm telling you, that they still talk. I mean, all of those kids have graduated college now, which is insane, right? But like, they still talk about that as an opportunity that they loved. I mean, they sat there in the audience when they were done working and stuff, like with their mouths open, because they never heard anything like that. These are mostly kids from Southern Indiana, the suburbs, and so to them, it was just mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing. And even to me, like, I was just really surprised that, like, I hadn't heard that kind of poetry, spoken word, since I was a kid. And they used to do them at the Java House down in the West End, like, so I grew up around a lot of that. So it just really meant something to see what you were doing. And if I don't get another chance to say, I just want to say, like, I'm super proud of you, and it's amazing. It really is.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that is, you have always told me, like, you like, man, Alonzo, he's just, doing a big thing, and you were always a supporter and always, had my back and just being like, man, you bigger than Starbucks. You need to go. And so then to see you doing big things, like I was like, yes, you know.
You say, you would be like, Rheonna, you have to leave. I'm sorry, I just hear your voice like, Rheonna, what are you doing here? But that is classic people being stuck in a position or not realizing how big, how limitless the sky really is. And I was just settling for this position and just knowing I wasn't happy, but I'm just settling here. I'm just,
Right.
hey, I'm getting a little check. It's all good, but
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't happy. Um, but I realize now, looking back on it, I had to get fired to, go into the bigger purpose. Because if I didn't, there's no telling what mediocre position I would still be in.
You still be
Um,
there. I guarantee it.
so you still be there.
And the Starbucks don't even exist anymore.
Hey, a little breezy. Oh, but yeah, like even now, doing it for so long, I'm now walking into bigger things. Now I'm finally getting a hold of the business side of it. I'm working on like a virtual university for Lipstick Wars, like a Lipstick Wars university with workshops and talk backs with artists and how they feel in the city. There's a lot of artists that get overlooked. Like these are things that I'm gonna be presenting on the Lipstick Wars platform.
Yeah.
There's going to be creative writing workshops, not just like the standard, workshops, but it's going to be like a slam workshop. There different things that I'm presenting, and finally doing merchandise, like merchandise that makes sense and not just, with my logo on it. It's just now I have a team of people that's helping me,
Mm-hmm.
expand it to its fullest potential. And I eventually one day I want to be able to employ. I want to be able to employ people full time. I want to, like it's a lot, but it can happen. Like I see you doing it, and it can happen. I believe
Oh,
it.
absolutely. And it's interesting. The thing is, oftentimes, all we have to do is take that first step off the boat.
Yeah.
That boat is our comfort zone. Like, it is easy to stay in there because it feels safer, it feels better. I at least know I'm not going to drown.
I can
But then,
complain here, I don't have to.
come on, come on. Nobody
I
else
don't
is
have
relying on me.
to, take the risk.
Yeah. But when you take that first step, it feels so good. And then it's like, okay, I can do more. I can do more. And even in the moments where we get scared, I mean, I've been directing theater for 15 years, and I still have moments where I question myself. And it's like, Alonzo, why are you doing this? Why are you questioning your ability and what you can do? But like you said, running a business is completely different than just doing your passion. And
And
I
I've
think
learned.
people need to realize, and maybe you could speak to this, like, not everybody needs to go start a business. That is not for everybody. It's hard work.
It really is. Like there's just because you may be good at doing something doesn't mean you're passionate enough to invest in it fully. And if you start something, you don't finish it, okay, that's fine. But I've seen a lot of people start up things and, oh, what happened to your girl? I ain't doing that no more. I'm
Uh-huh.
I'm doing wigs now. What? Oh, and that's that's fine. But it's like, it takes a lot, especially if you want it to be successful. And one thing that I've learned with doing Lipstick Wars, I'm not the best person at being organized or handling,
Mm-hmm.
or handling the business side of it. But I'm working with somebody who is. It's their
Right.
strong suit. I may not be the best at facilitating workshops, but I hired somebody who is. I may not be the best at marketing, but I got somebody who is. It's like it's literally like the Avengers. You putting people in your team where they shine in that, and creating a team from that, because you have to realize I may not be the greatest in this. I'm great at creating stuff and coming up with really cool flyers and contacting the poets, but I may not be the best at facilitating the actual
Mm-hmm.
show. And that's okay. I know that I have people in these spots that could help me pull this off. So I'm learning that
And here's
really
the
helped
thing:
me to understand.
you shouldn't be doing all that because you're the visionary.
Yes.
Visionary gets the vision, and then whew, the visionary.
Huh?
uh, visionary gets the vision, and then it's other people's. Then you have the implementers, who help implement the vision.
Mm-hmm.
And you can step down sometimes and give little thoughts here and there. But I had to learn as a theater director because I wanted to do everything. I was the opposite. Like I wanted to have my hand, you know how I am. Like, I had to grow and become healed from perfectionism.
Mm.
And oftentimes, like trying to make sure everything is perfect, you actually make it worse because you don't have anybody there who feels like they have ownership in what's going on. So then they
Mm.
take their hands off of it and they're like, well, you do it. I'm
You
just
got it.
somebody.
You know what's best.
Yeah. And then,
Mm.
and you aren't motivating people to own. And now I'm like, own your area. I'll give you vision. I'll give you thoughts, generally speaking, of what I want to see, but you own it and you do it,
Mm.
because what changed that, I'll never, and I will say this, I will say her name, Beth Buckman. She was a parent that I had of some of my students, two kids in theater, and she ran my VIP. I don't know if you remember, but I had like VIP area where before the show you could go and get like food and drink and like at intermission there was a special area where you can go and partake. And every show she did like a different theme. So like we did Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and she did this crazy candy bar with all these different colors all everywhere. Like it was beautiful.
Mm.
And I would often come in and be like, oh, I already bought that. I got that already. You don't have to worry about doing that. I bought that. I saw some tablecloths that I thought might work in VIP. So I just picked them up. And one day she's like, what do you want me to do? Either you want me to do this or you don't. And I don't mind either way. I love doing it, but both of us can't be doing this. You undermine us when you make decisions in our area without us.
Well,
And
well.
and one of the things I love is honesty. I love when conversations like that, when people are real. And I had to be like, you know what? You're right. I kept that receipt. I'll take that stuff back. Whatever you need,
He said, I'll take it back.
I'll take it back and get my money back.
Very real.
But like, I appreciate people who are real. And you know me, that's how I am. So I want people to be the same way with me as well, Big thing
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, you're very, very real. You are going to be honest and upfront. But how do people grow if they don't hear it? We're in these positions where people are, they're fascinated, or they appreciate the work that you do. Like, oh wow, I came to that play and it changed my life. Or sometimes you can get caught up in hearing the praise that you kind of overlook. Those things, and people don't. I remember for the longest, it seemed like everybody was just like, wow, it's so great. It's so great. Oh my goodness, great, awesome. But it wasn't until I came home, my husband was like, okay, Risa, what are you gonna do now? I was like, what do you mean? He was like, what's next? Are you gonna add a conference to it? Are you gonna do a workshop? Like, you need to what more? How are you gonna build to this? How are you gonna, you know, and I was just like, okay. And then it was like, well, are you gonna learn how to do, more of the business side? Are you gonna like, what more are you gonna do? You got this great thing, you got this golden goose. What next? And at first I was just kind of caught taken back because I was used to hearing people just saying, "Oh, this is amazing. I've never
Right.
seen," and I didn't feel the need to change anything. I just kept doing the same thing. Um, but it
You need
is,
people like that on your team.
yeah, people are gonna be honest and not just yes people. Or and then it is one thing too. Make sure you find people that it may not be their vision, but they are excited and passionate about seeing your vision come to life. Because if you just find somebody that who's interested, they emotionally invested. Because when it comes down from that high, when they come down from that high, they are not gonna
That's good.
they're not gonna make those meetings. They're not gonna come. They're not gonna be there. They're just not. Their life is gonna be more important. And make sure you find somebody that doesn't have 50 million things going on in their life, because they will never be able to give you their time and effort. And so
That's a
just
really good point. I mean, I think of me because there have been times I'm like, man, I really want to be involved with lipstick war.
that is you.
I'm like, man, I want to be a part of this because I want to be part of stuff that's moving and shaking, and because my friend is running it, and I believe in her. But I have to realize, like, there might come a time like where I can pop in, make an appearance, like maybe come give like a couple thoughts here and there, but I can't commit to that.
And I want, oh my God, I would love to have an Alonzo so bad, but like oof. I'm like, and I was saying, Alonzo, but aren't you doing like 7 plays this week? Yeah, but I can fit you in from like 1 to 105. Okay, I'll take it. And so don't you have,
Mhm.
you would just push yourself to do it. Like you would push yourself to the max.
I remember that year. I mean, I changed around some stuff
Oh
so
my
that
God.
so that we could make it happen and be there and support. It did always fall around fall break, so I got kind of lucky sometimes with when it was in the fall. But yeah, but then so let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
you you did the first lipstick wars.
Hmm.
You did the second. No. You did the first lipstick wars. Then you started Lip Gloss Diaries, and that happened a couple times, right?
Yes, I unfortunately I ended up getting when I was pregnant, I just couldn't. I was bedridden for most of the time, so I really couldn't invest in it the way that I wanted to. So I had to cancel it. And
Mm-hmm.
it was crazy. Last year I did it at the Speed Art Museum, and this year was going to be back at the Speed, but COVID. So anyway, so yeah, uh, Lipstick Wars was so successful that I ended up getting like a lot of younger women, young teens that were like, hey, I got a voice too. I have something I'm going through as well. Is there a platform for me? And I thought, okay, oh yeah, let's do this. And so I ended up doing lip gloss, and then a lot of people like, well, what's with the whole lip thing? Why why more lip stuff? Is When I was younger, my mother always had this red lipstick that she wore, and I remember wanting to put it on all the time. Like I would try to sneak to put this lipstick on, and she's like, "No, you put on lip gloss. You're not a woman yet to wear lipstick." And because lipstick was more permanent, but lip gloss,
Mm-hmm.
you could still play around with it. It could wipe off, whatever. So I thought, okay, I like lip gloss because you're not yet a woman, but you're
Mm-hmm.
still going through things. So that's why I kind of went with the lip gloss, and that was successful too. Um, so it's just like there are so many women and girls out there that are going through things, and you would be surprised how silent they feel. how much they feel like no one is hearing what they're going through. There is a girl, I went to Presentation Academy to do a workshop. It was a young girl, and she had it was a young girl. Sorry. There was a young girl. He's just sadly walking in.
That's hilarious. I can edit that out. Just start from the top of that story.
I'm at Presentation Academy, and there was a young girl who she maybe no more than 16 years old, and she wrote a poem about being she felt like she was gay, and she's like, I don't know how to come out to my mother. My mother is very spiritual. She's gonna disown me. I want to say it in this poem. And that's when it got really real for me. And I'm like, this girl is going through life, and she's trying to put this in a poem to tell her mother, Mom, I'm gay. And I was like, wow, I have to keep doing this. I have to focus on this just as much as I'm focusing on lipstick wars. I have to focus on this. Alonzo, so here's the thing. Zoom destroys phone batteries. I started at 70%. I'm down at 5%.
Oh, wow.
What do you want to
finish your story, and then we can kind of wrap up?
Oh, okay. So, so there's this girl, and she's like, how do I say this to my mother? I want to put this in a poem. I want to tell her that this is what I am, and how do I do this? And she's not the only one. There were girls 16 years old that had been molested, that had been in domestic violent relationships. And I'm like, wow, like you are living life, and you are deciding, I want to put this in a poem. I want to tell my side of the story. I want people to hear me. I have a voice. I have something to say. And that's what truly leads me to keep doing this. There have been times I thought about maybe I should move on to something else, but it came to me for a reason. So
Absolutely.
I feel like, I just feel like as an artist, it is my job to provide this platform for other people, and it's inspiring other artists. I've met a lot of poets that have did lipstick wars, that have done their own thing, that are, it's making.
And now you are doing lipstick wars in different cities. Tell us about that real quick.
Yes. So since now, that's the thing about Corona. Corona has been definitely a curse, and a gift and a curse to people. So by us doing everything virtually, I decided that I wanted to do small lipstick war battles in other cities. And this was something that I was working on before the virus hit. I was scheduled to go to Vanderbilt University in March. I was scheduled to go there. Lipstick Wars is going to be there in March. And then I was going to go to Chicago, and then I was going to go to Cincinnati. So I was doing this whole tour, and whoever won was going to come back here to Louisville at the end of October at the Louisville Palace, and we were going to have this huge lipstick wars. So now I decided to do it virtually. We've had Lipstick Wars Nashville, streamed that on Facebook. We had Lipstick Wars Chicago, that was great. And this month, we are doing Lipstick Wars New York.
New York.
So and here's the crazy part. New York is such a widespread that I have poets that are going to be from that are from London. There are poets that are from like Baltimore, Philly.
That's going to be exciting. Well, make sure you follow Rheonna on socials. Where can people follow you, Rheonna?
So you all can follow me at Rheonna Nicole, RheonNicole on Instagram, on Facebook. And if you can't remember that, just put in Lipstick Wars and I'll pop up. I hate that we have to end this so soon.
Well, before we go, let me ask you rapid fire, quick question. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I wouldn't be against cooking. No, being a baker. Lord
Okay.
knows I don't need it, but I want to.
Okay, tell us what you're listening to or watching currently.
I am watching. I'm watching Parks and Rec all over again.
One of the greatest shows of all time.
That in Community.
So good. Season 4 of Parks and Rec, when Leslie Knope is running for city council, that season is just the best. Just the best.
Ooh, we got to
We
have
can have
a
a whole
whole discussion about
episode.
that.
Yeah. Okay. What advice would you give your younger self?
I would definitely tell my younger self, you to walk in your assurance. Don't be afraid to be brave. It is, and don't get so wrapped up in what people have to say about you. Like be assertive, be assured of yourself. And be careful of your surroundings and who you give your time and your heart to, and work on your wellness, your health, and yeah. That's
Okay,
what I'm
and since
talking
we
about.
talked about it, what is your favorite Starbucks drink?
Favorite Starbucks drink, hands down. It's for me. It's simple, but passion tea lemonade.
That ain't never changed. But it ain't regular passion tea lemonade.
Oh, this has been great. So
And
my
on that
gosh.
note, we'll end there. Thank you, Rheonna. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk
Me.
to us. So,
All
and
right.
we'll talk really soon.
Okay. Bye.
All right, bye.